Hey, welcome back to Pour It On, the podcast where Ben, Sean, and I come together every couple of weeks to, I think, prioritize our friendship and connection and to discuss life's joys and challenges. Before we get into our topic, which you guys don't know at all, I would love for us to check in. Let's go with you, Ben, because I know, Ben, you had a big day very recently. So would love to hear how you're doing.
Yeah, you're running the episodes. Just to be clear, it's my turn to talk, right? I have the
Yeah,
permission.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, you can speak now.
Jeez. Yes, that's awesome. I'm doing well. Yeah, a lot of big days lately. It's a consequential week for me with big things happening at work. With my birthday was yesterday as we sit here on a rainy Tuesday night recording. So thank you, gents, for the pour it on birthday wishes in our text chain. Got a lot of love from people. I feel good, and yeah, going to Thanksgiving at my girlfriend's family, so that's going to be fun, and kind of entering that period of both frenetic fumes, but also some reflection. It's a good week to do that. So thanks for asking. Appreciate it. Appreciate you
Ben,
guys.
are you responsible for cooking anything at your girlfriend's family's
Yeah,
place?
so you know how every family has traditions. I've never gone to have dinner with their family for Thanksgiving, and so I found out that they don't do stuffing. And I took a
Wow.
deep breath and I said, "I'm an American. I'm we're we're, we're having
American.
we're having some stuff. Yeah, there's no A. It's just American. Yes." And so I have recipes upstairs, and as I sit here and make big promises, I'm planning to make not one but two types of stuffing
Wow.
to
Oh,
bring
you're bringing
along.
it.
Yes, and if nothing else, I'll sit at the end of the table with a big spoon and just dig into my own stuffing. But
What are the two
uh,
types?
one is, I guess, more the traditional, breading and herb Thanksgiving dressing, and the other has will have some sausage.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. So,
I love that.
yeah, and so and I might make a dessert, but that's probably going to be pushing it. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing. It's kind of a no. It's kind of like a no stress side, right, Chris? Like they're not even especially since they didn't even ask for it. Like talk about low pressure, right?
Not in our family. It's like the
Oh,
side.
Right?
that is
It
not
is
only the
the
side, it's
side.
the
It's like, are you
centerpiece,
shitting
dude.
me? Yeah.
Yes.
I
Like I
know.
get like we don't do turkey anymore, but sure as fuck we're doing stuffing.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
do you?
yeah.
So what's your main dish? Do you have one?
We go ribeye. We go,
Oh,
so we take the mashed potatoes and the stuffing and the gravy and even the cranberries, but then we pair that with steak.
Yeah.
damn,
That's nice.
that's
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
fantastic.
That's nice. I like that. I
Yeah.
like that move. Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. I hear
But
the applause.
Lisa makes the stuffing with sausage. She makes
That
good
sounds
stuffing.
good to me. I've never
Yeah.
had that. That
Oh,
sounds
it's
Yeah.
good.
delicious. Yeah.
Okay, Sean, I brought this up with you earlier. I want to give you a chance to gloat. You had a big football weekend. Tell us how you're doing. I think you went 2-0 this weekend,
Yeah,
right?
I just want to say before I get in that last episode, I talked, 60-ish. You guys gave me shit about 50 or 60-ish.
Yeah,
Now that Ben is 55, he is now,
right in the
around
middle.
round up. I'm a round up guy. I don't round down. So now he's 55. So he is 60-ish at this point. I just want to say.
That is bullshit.
I'm
Okay.
just saying.
I've been 55 for like 8 hours.
Okay.
Okay. So that doesn't make
Okay.
me 60. But in fairness to you, and I hate being fair to you. I mean,
Just saying.
in
You're right
fairness to
there.
you, we are in the same demographic. My issue
Right.
was last time was that I thought you were signaling to the people listening that you had to kind of be in that male age range for this.
Oh,
And I was saying, no,
yeah, no. Right.
we're for a lot of age range and a lot of different
Correct.
people. That's
Got
all.
it. Oh, I thought it was about us.
Yeah.
But
No.
listeners, right, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I spent the weekend in Columbus with my wife and son. We went to Ohio State game on Saturday. Rutgers.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, I just want to say they won 42-9, but they didn't look that great. And so there might be a lot of nervous people going into Michigan game this weekend.
Mm,
I don't know. I think it's going to be a blowout. But anyways,
mm.
and then we drove a couple hours to Cincinnati to watch the Pats beat the Bengals.
Oh,
Barely
Which
beat the Bengals.
you see, that's the thing. Everybody's like, listen to these shows. My son Jack listens to all the Pats shows afterwards, and people are lamenting. Oh, it was awful. I mean, I'm really nervous. I mean, they're 10-2. I mean, it's like, okay, yes, we're going into the end of the season, but you're 10-2, and
you just described the typical Patriots fan. That's what you did.
you mean they're all freaked out and nervous? You mean that
Just
it sucked?
like complaining when you're 10-2.
Right?
Yeah,
Yes.
That's what
exactly.
right for sure. So, but it was fun. We had a good time
Good.
together, and the football was good. So, yeah, good to be
I
with you
love it.
guys.
You
I
too.
love it. It's also good to hear you acknowledge that the Buckeyes are gettable.
Did I say that?
I thought you
Did I say
did.
they're
That's
gettable?
that's what I inferred from what you said. I think
I infer gettable too.
I,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, let's move on. Okay, thank you both. It's great to be with you again. For today, this is a total cold call for the listeners. These guys have no idea what's coming here. But I want to talk about what some people have referred to as the real currency of life. It is time. Time,
Mm.
I believe, is the real currency of life. And this is a curveball because had been planning to discuss, for us to discuss Viktor Frankl's book, Man's Search for Meaning, to which I fully intend to return at some point on a later episode. But I wanted to give you the backstory here. And this came up, Ben was just talking about his father, but over the last few days, I was reminded about this sort of universally limited and precious commodity of time, right? You can't buy more time. My mom is visiting us from Vermont. I live in Chicago. And we hopped in a car on Saturday and we took a 15-hour road trip, so that she could see her 84-year-old older sister. And it was only about 12 hours of connection. That I acknowledge that may seem borderline illogical, but to see those two together, really, truly, in the winter of their lives, was for me and Manisha and my daughter May just pure, complete joy. Now, these two women are exceptional in so many ways, from their strength and their ability to find laughter and joy in literally everything. But here's the core truth I think this experience forced me to confront, which is the clock is finite, guys. It is for everybody. No one is exempted from this fact. So every day, every visit, every phone call between my mom and her sister carries this real immense and unspoken weight. And it makes me think even harder about something I consider a lot already, and you guys both know this, but that our time is limited. There's no guarantees. You don't know how much time you have left, and how then do we make the most of it? So that brings us back to this moment that I had these last 3 days that inspired this topic, and I want to start by asking you both about this. Maybe I should call on somebody. I'm going to call on Ben first, but like, your reaction to this, and are there places in your life where you're making the investment of this limited resource of time that might seem illogical to the outside observer, but may deliver this level of high value joy to you that I experienced 2 days ago?
Phenomenal topic. Something I think about so much. So as soon as you said that, I'm like, oh, yes, this is a great one to dig into. The example you gave with your family and that amazing moment between mom and sister, that's really lovely. I don't know that there's anything I would say that our listeners would find to be illogical or particularly unlikely, except that I don't know that enough people believe in and honor the premise that you're talking about. You hear people say, time is short, it goes fast. And it's like when people say thoughts and prayers during a time of tragedy. It's like the thing you say, but it doesn't really carry meaning.
Mhm.
And I think about honoring time all the time. And I make decisions around that of what I do and I don't do. You know, just today I had here in Manhattan, I had some meetings and on my way home I stopped, to pick up something. It doesn't matter what it was, except to say that it had said it's here for your pickup. And it was strangely worded. So I followed up with the company and I'm like, I just want to be sure that it's there. Right. And even that, I don't think most people would have done. And I'm like, they're like, we understand your question because of how it's worded. It's there. And I'm like, okay. And so I go to the store and they're like, it's not here. We have a record that you ordered it. I'm like, but look at this is your company. And they're like, yeah, he shouldn't have told you that. Now, this is frustrating and what happens in customer service, but I was so frustrated when I left, Chris, because of the time. Right. I checked and I'm like, that was an hour and 7 minutes or whatever it was. I'm like, I lost that. I use the word hate very judiciously, and I hate when people say I'm killing time. I got to the airport early. I'm killing time. Like, don't kill time. Respect time. And so, yeah, it affects how I think about keeping in touch with people, how many visits I can make to see family, how I try to protect my peace with my time and don't fill it because I want to save that energy for other things. And it really bothers me when others don't. I don't feel great about that. But I don't think, especially in the workplace, we treat time like we do money. We have budgets for money. We make
Mhm.
decisions around money. And I say, I've said this in my company, if you're adding this thing in, what comes off? And I get
Mhm.
silence. Like, no, just fit it in. Like it's another thing to do. I'm like, yeah, but I don't have the time for all that. So I think it's a great topic to try to explore. And as usual in these podcasts, I'm gonna get something out of the two of you that'll probably calm me down a little bit, or maybe give me a technique because it's a it's something that can really get under my skin.
Well, before I turn it over to Sean, I want to be clear and set expectations that I'm not coming with solutions. So
Oh,
so
well, that's like
that's
that's the host prerogatives. I don't know
it
what's
is.
going on. You
It
guys
is.
go. Yeah,
It is. I mean, and hell, I mean, the things I'm more likely to bring up with you two are things that I need answers to
that's
which I don't
fair.
have answers. So, Sean, how about you? I mean, I think about you as someone who is so thoughtful and diligent about how you spend every hour, almost every minute of your life. Are there things on your calendar when you look at it, you're like, that wasn't worth it, or I could have been doing this?
Sure, and I think this is good because this is kind of an extension from our last conversation, right? Our
Hmm.
last episode where we did talk about making bets with our time
Hmm.
and how we
Hmm.
want to make bets with our time. And I feel like I'm always I feel like I'm always thinking about, is this valuable? Is this a good use of my time? And who am I doing this for me? Am I doing this for someone else? And so the deposit in a relationship with somebody else.
Hmm.
So I'm willing to do something which I may not feel great about today, but I'm going to do it because I think it's maybe it's good for somebody else. So I I don't know, when you give you get, so maybe everybody's winning on that. I think I can get it maybe even overly selfish about time sometimes. I mean, it's like, okay, well, I got to do this run, or I got to get a walk in, or and what am I going to allow that's going to get in the way of that? A 15-hour round trip by car, I'm Xing that off. Xing that shit off my list. Yesterday we drove back to Chicago from Cincinnati, 5.5, I think. Chris, five and a
Yeah,
half, I
yeah,
think.
that's about right. That's about right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I get shamed into it by my wife and son. Like, oh, come on, it's nothing. And it wasn't bad, honestly. But I don't really like being in a car more than 2 hours. So when it becomes, when it's like, oh yeah, this is a 4 hour car ride, I'm like, really? That feels like a waste. So Yeah, that's when I think about time. That's a because I'd much rather people are like, well, by the time you get to the airport, it's the same thing. I'm like, yeah, but I like going to the airport. I like having a coffee, reading papers or a book or whatever, waiting for my flight to come, getting on the plane. I like that whole process. Sitting in a car, stopping at a Love's on the way back, on the way back to get a shitty coffee and
Well, so, so
some
first
bad
of all,
muffins. No, that's not. I'm not all about that.
I
all
love
that
I love curmudgeonly Sean. We don't get
I
we
know, I
don't
know.
we don't get him enough.
Well, we get them enough. We get them enough.
You get it more than I do.
Well, it's so funny because everything you just described enjoying at the airport sounds to me like killing time.
I think part of it for me is I do tend to go, and it's very not doing anything. I'm just kind of doing anything from the sense of I'm not running around. I'm sitting in a chair. I'm reading a paper. I'm drinking coffee. So it's a very chill. It's a very and just being peaceful and waiting for the plane to come. So it's
Yeah.
uh, no way is it killing time for me. It's enjoying time in a very kind of calm way.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree that the way we use our time does not deliver an equal return on investment for everything we do, right? So for
Right.
example, I'll give you an example. Like, I do love a road trip. I love to drive. I love to have my daughter in the passenger seat and we're going through playlists and introducing each other to music. My wife, Manisha, who adores my mom and vice versa, is in the back seat and they're working through stuff and this and that. So there's value in that too. So when I say 15-hour round trip, road trip, I'm not talking about just fucking staring at the highway and the hash marks, but still, that is a long road trip for 12 hours. Now, that 12 hours, guys, I'm telling you, I mean, I don't want to understate this idea that these are two people that have known each other for 82 years, right? And so that is, I'm not sure that I can readily point to time more well spent than
Hmm.
these two people that have known each other for that long. Given that time can, the way we spend time can offer different ROIs. Do you guys think about that in your day to day? Do you think about like, there are people that doom scroll. I would argue that that's the
Hmm.
worst use of time in
Yeah,
the world.
yeah.
But do you think about how you spend your time in that context?
I do, and given how important it is to me, and given that my search for discipline and the use of time is something I think about every day, it kind of kills me that when I do find myself doom scrolling, making some dinner for my son, and he's in his other room watching video, and I'm like, I just sat down on the couch for a second and brought up Instagram or something, and then
Hmm.
and it's not, I'm not blaming social media or any of the other things we've talked about. It's just that was 25 minutes that maybe was just a mental health break for me, but it could have been spent the way you do, Chris,
Hmm.
that kind of like quietly still and thinking and reflecting. And so, yeah, I do think about it. And then when you add in how busy life is here, um, it just makes it that much more important to get the investment back. You don't always know. I think Sean, you're right that if you do make time to check in with people and have a conversation, you always get something back from that. But just to give you an example, Chris, last night for my birthday, I took my son out to dinner at this great steakhouse in Brooklyn, Peter Luger's, and I said, "Listen, buddy, I was almost in like a 24-hour work window, just everything bunched up." And I said, "I on the Uber ride there, I have to listen to something for work." And he's like, "Yeah, no problem." I said, "As soon as we get to the place, I'm yours. No problem." Get there, check in. Everything about it was awesome. I mean, a 10 out of 10. And, he wore a nice shirt, which I got out of his closet and ironed for him. And he wore this hoodie that was mine. And I said, "Hey, try this for, it's kind of a heavier one and it fits him now," which is happening a lot. And he's like, "This is mine now, right?" Yeah. So he says, "Can I wear this? Can I wear this to dinner?" Right. So he gets the nice iron shirt and he puts this zip code. I'm like, "Okay, fine." I don't really think twice about it. We get in the car and I said, you know, whatever you were scurrying around to get yesterday, I'm not fishing for a present, but I just didn't want him to forget that he did all that effort and forgot to give it to me. He's like, no, no, no. How about later tonight? I'm like, yeah, sure. Well, it turns out the guy, my son had gotten me this present, wrapped it up and put a card on with tons of tape. He stuck it down his shirt, zipped up the sweatshirt, and carried it around that way for a half an hour until we got seated. Then the waiter
Oh,
came over. Then he unzips it and says, "Here," and the wrapping come off. He's like, "Sorry, it's a mess now, but I wanted to surprise you." Now, and that's not even counting the thoughtfulness of what he got me and the card. And so on the way back, I pay the bill. We have a great dinner, and he says, "Hey, that thing you were doing on the car ride here, you listening for work? Do you have to do that on the way back?" And for like a fraction of a second, I was going to say yes because I had like 10 more minutes, and I'm like, "What? Why do you ask?" He goes, "Oh, I've just gotten really into Green Day lately, and I was hoping we could listen to it together."
oh,
And in that moment, I thought, time. This is our time. You get my time. This is the one of the best nights I've ever had. There's no question I'm going to do that. And so we listened to it all the way home. And I'm like, I promise you, if we're doing this podcast in 25 years, I will remember that story. I won't remember
mm.
the other thing I have to do. So I try to be intentional about it and honor those moments when they happen. That made me feel great just telling that story.
It's
Oh, it
great. It's
should
a
make you
great
feel
story.
great. It is a great story.
I'm thinking two things. One is I hope we're doing this in 25 years. I'll be 87.
Hey,
Think anybody will be listening? What would it be like? First of all, I mean, will podcasts still be around in 25 years? Will I still be around in 25 years? Talk about time. Second thing I'm thinking about is how late did you eat that steak? You talk about curmudgeon. I'm like, oh shit, he had a big ass steak at Peter Luger's at like 9 o'clock.
Well,
Oh my God. I wouldn't be, yeah, that's why you were up all
I'm falling
night.
asleep at that
yeah.
point.
Right.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
know. Yeah, I had to get up
yeah.
so early too.
Oh God.
It's the only time the reservation was available. It's a hard place to get.
Yeah, I know.
And it was date specific because I'm born on November 24th. So
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
it was we probably started digging into that sucker at about 9.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
great parenting, but good
No, no,
food.
no. I think it's great parenting, the whole event. I'm just thinking about eating
Yeah.
Yeah,
myself
no.
eating the steak that late.
And you mentioned, Ben, or you said the word intentional.
Hmm.
And I've heard other people talk about money is not the real currency of life. And time is not even the real currency of life, but attention is the real
Mm.
currency of life. And intention, attention, it sounds to me like the dinner
Mm.
you guys had last night was the two of you celebrating you, which is more than worthy, but that you were able to give your attention to one another. And Sean and I talked at one point after a podcast within the last year about how seven good minutes, like giving someone your true attention for 7 good minutes. My point in this whole story is that it's to whom do you give your time, which is limited, and then how do you give it? And so that's
Hmm.
sort of my next question. Like how do we do this better? Like,
Well, I think I mean, throwing quotes around. I mean, Thich Nhat Hanh talks about the greatest gift you can give anyone is your presence, and so to be present with someone, to be fully there as you experience them, is everything. And I think in our attention deficit society these
mhm,
days, it's very difficult. I mean, think about it. I know even me sometimes I'm not as present as I want to be, and I'm more mindful of it than I've ever been. But yeah, I mean, that really resonates with me because, and again, maybe more so because of our time, the time that we live in. And so I'll be thinking about, okay, I'm with this person. Do I really think they're present? Are they listening? Are they engaged? Do they want to be with me? That makes the time special
Yeah.
when we're present, because otherwise it's just what is it?
I think it's no,
It doesn't
I
have as much meaning, I guess.
yeah.
Probably,
yeah,
yeah.
It's easier for me to talk about it. I think it's clear when you talk about it in an emotional context. Being present, those 7 minutes for friends and family, making time for conversations like this. I think where it gets trickier is where we all spend a lot of our time is in the work context. And if one of my employees comes in and has something to talk about, I'm going to be present. I'm going to honor the fact that they wanted to talk to me, and we'll shut the door and talk about it. That doesn't happen a ton. What's much more common is I'm on a call, a group call where I have a role, where I'm part of something happening with 32 people. And I get itchy after a few minutes if I'm just listening. And it's not incredibly intentional and important that I listen because I've got other things to do.
Mm.
Like it feels to me like wasted time.
Mm-hmm.
Wasted time hurts my soul in a way it didn't used to. I've never loved it, but it's like, oh, okay, so we all have to be at meetings and we, take turns. And so I will find myself multitasking. And every once in a while I look up and I'm like, I wonder if somebody there knows that I'm not being totally intentional. Like they could, if it detracts for them. And I don't think it generally does because it's almost like built into our culture that we're all doing so many things that we're not fully present, but it's sort of expected. And I don't love that,
So,
like then let's
so
not
I,
just
so I
have
have
the
a,
meeting,
so I have a quick question for you.
Mhm.
So if we said, okay, if you said, I'm just going to use because I'm asking you, you said, okay, my time is the most precious thing I have, most precious currency I have, and you were on a call like that, and you're like, this is a waste of time, I'm out. How does that feel to you? If you're like, okay, I'm sitting here, I'm wasting my time, and I'm not because there are people in this world that would just be like, this is a waste of time, I'm out. I'm not doing this.
Yeah. How would I feel about that? Or how
Yeah,
would it?
yeah.
Um, well, I'm doing it more and more. So I think that I'm learning that lesson in real time, very real time. Sometimes but Sean, sometimes I guess I'll speak for myself. I don't know until I'm in it. It's like
Yeah.
the last two
Well,
are really impactful, and this one is like a lighter agenda, and we're having a presentation about how this person did this project, and I'm like, oh shit, 24 minutes. It's not like it's unimportant, and I actually probably could learn a lot, but it's not the 24 minutes I want to spend because I'm behind on these things. So now, what do you do in that moment? Because you want to honor the best use of your time and be intentional.
yeah.
But I live in a context of what I do affects other people, and I want to be that kind of human. And so, probably what I would do is try to be deft about it in that call, but start looking at all of those calls differently. Like set the bar before you go because it's a little easier just to not be on than to hang up on somebody.
You,
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm not suggesting you would hang up,
Yeah.
but there would be some kind of disconnection
Yeah.
comment that you
I don't
might
know,
make.
man. I've called you sometimes and you hang up on me a lot. And I'm like, and you know how
Not true,
you know,
listeners. Not true.
you know how I know?
Not
It's because
true.
it's just the two of us. It's a phone call and there's nobody
Not
there
true.
anymore.
Let me take a slight tangent that I had not planned. The story that I make up is that all three of us have been our parents. We've all raised kids. Work colleagues notice less quickly when we're not fully attentive than our kids do.
Good
Like
point.
I think our kids. I mean, you just said this. You guys were driving to get steaks. It's like, can we listen to the Green Day on the way home? It's like our kids are more attentive to that, or more aware of how engaged we are than maybe our work colleagues. Do
Hmm.
you guys find that to be true? Like, do our kids have this superpower?
Oh, so do you not think when you're with someone in work or in a situation that when they're engaged and when they're not engaged?
Okay, so to be fair, our worlds have changed over the last really,
Hmm.
20 years, but certainly over the last 5 years since the pandemic. So the way, it's easier to fake it via Zoom call than it is via sitting
Hmm.
across from one another at a steak dinner. And again, maybe this is just what I want to believe, but that young people have this awareness or ability to determine how well people are listening to them. You guys heard me say before that my next tattoo is likely to be like listen better.
Yeah.
Like my kids know when I'm not listening.
Hmm. Really, what I have to do here, Chris, to be intentional with this time is to just gauge how pissed off Sean's going to be that I'm about to drop a movie quote.
And Chris is gonna make, oh
No,
yeah, and he's gonna add on to it, and then yeah.
no, bring
Yeah.
it, bring it, bring it,
And
bring
and and there's a thought bubble above Sean's head that says this is not worth my time.
it.
In the aggregate, it's definitely worth my time.
Yeah.
This
This
piece,
piece,
I'll forget in 2 seconds.
this
Yeah,
this
right.
moment
This
with
this
Ben.
moment is not. I'm not present right now. Go.
So one of my favorite movies is Michael Clayton with George Clooney in the lead, and
Yep.
part of the story is his relationship with his young son Henry. And there's a scene where Henry's describing the book that he's reading, and it's the whole car ride. And George Clooney's character has so much going on that all he's doing is, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
And the kid finally picks up on it. He's like, you're not even going to read it, are you? He's like, oh, he heard the tension. He's like, yeah, give me a copy. He's like, I did give you a copy. It's on your coffee table. So fast forward to later in the movie where something happens with the family and George Clooney's pulling away and he's so frustrated about his deadbeat brother and he looks at his son and he pulls the car over and the son's like, what? And he is so present as a dad and says, I know why you love Uncle Timmy and, Big Boy and all that stuff. He's like, but you need to know that that's never going to be you. You will never be one of these people where the sky's falling on you. You have it. You've got it. I don't know where you got it, but like you are going to be okay. I see it in your eyes. And it was the most present moment in between them, but also one of the most present things I've ever seen in a movie. It's like the way they directed that, stop everything, pull over the car. And he would not relent in his point until the kid nodded with love. And I just always think about that. Like the guy who wasn't present when he had to be,
Mm.
showed up, and his character kind of flipped that way throughout the movie. So what I try to do is if I know I can't be present, I try to get ahead of it. Chris, I know that might sound sort of silly, but I'll say I think I did this weekend.
Yeah.
Like, I'll say, look, my son does well when he knows what's coming up. He's always
Yeah.
been this way. He's like, tell me the plan. And then what? And then is it 4 stops or is it 3 stops? Are we switching trains? And I'm like, sometimes I'm like, why does it matter? I'm like, he does better when he kind of has a sense of the order to come. And so I'll say, listen, here's what I've got in the next 24 hours. You're going to be here. We're going to do this. I'm going to be pretty consumed with this, but then we're going to have this. And he's like, okay, and I'm not making an excuse for it, but I'd rather have him know than have me be sort of half listening to this story he's telling about a book. And then I'm the guy driving the car and not paying attention. I
I,
don't
Hmm.
want to be that guy.
I really want to. I want to commend you. I think it's great when you do that. I mean, when you're telling the story about, hey, I need to listen to this on our way to dinner. Is that okay? And what's good about that is there are some things in life that are important, that are important like that. And so he's learning to say, okay, well, you're here with me, and this is special the night we're going to have. But this 10 minutes, you got to listen to this thing. Fine. I can keep myself busy for 10 minutes. I just think that's some people might say, oh, no, don't even do that. But I think it's a being one. He's going to, I mean, if he's anything like you, he's going to be one that is interested in his work and wants to do well and is
Hmm.
involved in it and is going to work hard. And so there are times when you're gonna order it, right? It's going to be there and you're going to do it, but you're going to communicate you're doing. I don't know. It feels how you're doing that, and you've talked about it before. I think is really good.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I know we're running short on time here. I almost want to throw into the queue another conversation for down the road where the three of us talk about really long-term relationships. And I think again about my mom and her sister who've known each other for 82 years. Sean, I know you've been going through some stuff. Your siblings and you have been working on some stuff. Ben, I know that you lost a
Hmm.
sister
Hmm.
very recently. And so we don't have the time to go into that now, and I don't want to give that short shrift. So this whole idea of foundational long-term relationships, we're gonna save. But but quickly, I want to touch on maybe one, maybe two more things. But like this notion of mortality, I mean, it's impossible not to consider mortality the older we get. But certainly the older we get, the more at least I think about my limited time here. I'm curious if you guys think about if the way you think about how you spend your lives and use your time changes or has changed over the course of your lives.
Certainly, it's changed over the course of my life. Maybe not only how I'm spending my time, but what I'm spending my time on, but how am I doing it? Am I doing it frustrated and anxious and impatient, or am I doing it with joy and calm and quiet? So to me, that's as important as what I'm doing. Yeah, and I would say not so much as it relates to end of life, but I think just there's just so much to do. I mean, there's just so many wonderful things to experience. Just being mindful of those best things. And again, balance it for me. I guess it's often thinking these days about the balance between what is for me and what is for others, and how much do those overlap and how much are they separate.
Hmm.
And so there's no clear answer to that. It's just a balance.
Yeah, I think about it. I've certainly thought about it more as you hit these milestones like the one I did yesterday. I have been trying to get, I haven't been trying to. My son would correct me when I say trying to. He's not, you're not trying, you're doing it. He's like, I
Right.
have been. I've been going into the gym to see a trainer twice a week for a year and a half. So it's a commitment I've made. And, anybody who really takes this stuff seriously will say that the motivation has to come from within, not for others. And, what's your motivation? It's got to be, for yourself. But part of mine is because of my age, and I want to be healthy and do things with people I love for a long time. And Sam's my motivation. I'm 6'1". He's getting up to my height. He's very athletic, and I'm thinking like, I want to play with this kid and hang out with him for a long time.
Hmm.
That is not the way I thought about, health as recently as 10 years ago, like as a means of longevity. It was
Hmm.
just because I wanted to feel better and look better. And now it's like I gotta have a plan
Yeah.
and work on it now to keep up with him because I first became a dad when I was 40. And that's just with him, let alone relationships with other people that I love. And how do I make the most of the time? Well, you got to invest in it right now.
Hmm.
And that, Chris, is a motivation when it's cold and dark in New York and I'm heading to the gym at, 6:15 a.m. Like, oh, this is ridiculous. This is
Hmm.
ridiculous. Like, I just need, well, no, it's part of a plan to live longer and healthier. And so, yeah, that's probably the best example of doing something about it. I also fret about it, more than I should. But you're right, brother. Like, nobody, the best route to this is you can't outspend this, you can't out earn this. It's coming.
Hmm.
Hmm.
It's coming. And I'm sorry, the last thing I'll say is that it just hit me just talking about this. And I'm sorry I don't have any specific examples for you, but there's been a spate of famous people who have died, as always, but like lately, and a lot of them have been age 84, 85. And I'm like, God, that's not old. I used to
Uh-huh.
think that was old, but I'm like, in mid 80s, what? And it really it sort of shook me. All my parents are in their 80s.
Yeah.
That's only 30 years away from me. And it was jarring. I'm like, well, I forget, maybe it was Diane Keaton or somebody like that. I'm like, it's shocking. Like, well, that's when a lot of people go.
Yeah.
So how do you not see that from a place of dread and fear,
Right.
but from a place of like, yeah, it's the fact as old as time. Enjoy the time you have and get ready. And I'm working to get into that mindset. But that's a tough one for me. That's a tough one.
Yeah, for sure. And we ask people at the end of if you've come this far, what they hope that people will say about them at their wake. And what I would encourage, you guys, I do this myself, but our listeners as well. Like if you could fast forward to your 80s and look back at your time portfolio, the way you invested your time, what three things or two or three things would you hope were the largest holdings?
Hmm.
Is it is it career? Is it travel? Is it relationships? And there's no right answer to this. Like I'm not judging. It's just something that I think about a lot. So
Hey,
I think,
Chris, I got to say, one of the things I love when you host is you find yourself ideating future topics. I don't know if you know that you do that, but like you're like expanding to the Google Doc as we go, which is great, brother, because apparently we're doing this podcast till Sean's 87.
Right.
So
we
Love it.
got lots of time.
we need
Well,
some-
that'll be one of the things I look back on. What the fuck that was I doing with those guys for 25 years?
Yeah.
Just FYI. I'm already thinking about that.
You remember when there was
yeah.
Spotify?
Right. Yeah.
All right, listen. There were 7 other alleys I wanted to go down there, but thanks everybody for joining us. Hope you enjoyed the conversation. And I just want to say, remember, when life's challenges make you want to bottle it up, do what we do. These are words I borrowed from my friend Ben Feller. Pour it on. Please share your thoughts, questions, recommendations, complaints, if you have any, with us on our LinkedIn profiles. Or
What are they going to complain about? Like, you talk too much? What I mean, what would it be?
It's usually
When Chris hosts, he's like, he talks a lot when he
we
hosts.
didn't get enough. We didn't get enough. We didn't get enough Emerson.
Right. Yeah. Right.
That and,
Thank
and
you.
Sean hung up on me. Those are the 2 things that I get.
Those are the 2 things.
Yes, listeners, if you're not happy, right.
Or
What?
maybe they'll complain about how you beat up on me incessantly.
I don't think they.
about that?
I don't think they
Seriously, Ben, do I?
will. No. It's from a place of love.
Right. Totally.
Okay, but check it
Totally.
out. Like thanks
Totally.
to our junior co-host Ben Feller, we have an Instagram page. That's a technological advancement.
Yes.
And you know, or shoot us a note wherever you listen to your podcast, Spotify, Apple, RSS, whatever. And with that, I think we can wrap this.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys. Be well.
Peace and love all.
Love you
All
guys.
right. See ya.